What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? This is going to be your review for Chasing Dallas, season 2, episode 10. So let me say this before I get started, and I don't want to forget. I want to definitely send a special shout out to Reese, who was in a really, well, it could have potentially been a really bad situation today. He was on his live. He was driving. He wasn't distracted. It wasn't because he was on his live that this happened, but some debris from the truck in front of him smashed his windshield, and all you heard was the crash. You saw the glass, and you heard Reese, and then when he finally did pick up his phone, all you saw was blood. And so he did come back later on, and he let everybody know that he was okay and explain what happened. But I want to just send some love and some prayers and thank God that you are okay. But for the grace of God, go out, right? So definitely want to send that love before we get started and dig deeper. So this episode was New Orleans, the trip to New Orleans. Let me say this. I thought this was a great episode. There was a little this and a little that going on, a little shady this, a little shady that, but I think this was the kind of shade that I think is all in fun. I think everybody had a good time. The only thing that I wish they would have done is I wish they would have gotten an Airbnb together so they could have all been together and maybe spent a little bit more time together and bonded. But I know that the production isn't at a point where they can front that kind of thing. And when you're dealing with all these different people and all they other stuff, so I know it was probably a lot to maybe coordinate that. But I do want to say that overall the trip was nice. Now let's go look. This ain't gonna be a long review because it wasn't really a lot with the episode, but I was cool with it because I just think it was a good episode. So Reese, let me tell you something. I ain't even mad at you, Reese. Reese found a $16 flight from Austin to New Orleans, but he had to get to Austin. So he took a Greyhound to Austin and took his flight to New Orleans. I ain't even mad at you, Reese. I can't. I'm not, and I ain't. I'm a shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line kind of person, and if I gotta pay a little bit extra for that straight line, then that's what I gotta do. But I understand, and I ain't mad at you. Now George, they got him and his friend went, and they got a rental car. Their rental car broke down on the way there. Somehow he opened up the trunk, and the trunk wouldn't close, so they had issues. Then Kane, poor Kane, I felt bad for Kane because he got a flight on bootleg ass Spirit Airlines. They fucked up his flight, and he ended up not being able to come at all because the next flight they were going to book him on was on Sunday. Well, hell, the trip was going to be over on Sunday. So I felt bad for Kane because that's got to be very disappointing that, you plan for something and you see them having a good time and you weren't able to make it. Like, I would have been pissed off and in my own head the rest of the weekend. But that's me. That's how I would have handled it. So sorry that Kane couldn't make it. We already know that Dior and his crew weren't coming, his family, and Asia O'Hare decided she wasn't going to come, so none of them came. Markel drove down, and let me say this too, and I don't know what the state of y'all relationship is in current day, but it was really great to see the two of you guys on this trip, getting together, throwing the shade back and forth at each other like the way y'all used to be. Like, it was so effortless, and y'all were just back and forth, and it was fun, and it was great to see. It was really nice to see it. George came. George, you so extra. George is so. But in this episode, it was funny extra. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't roll my eyes, get on my nerves extra. It was really funny extra. So, like, he kept throwing, he threw a little shade here and there. Like, he talked about the fact that Reese's Airbnb was 20 minutes outside of the city and that he was like 2 minutes from, he said his hotel was like 2 minutes from Canal Street. Okay. What I have found with staying in Airbnbs is that a lot of times the better Airbnbs aren't always the closest to the action. If that makes sense. Anyway, as far as when I say better, I mean like price wise. Anyway, now Reese done already told you he cheap, so. And 20 minutes really is not a big deal. Like, it really isn't that big of a deal. But neither here nor there. Carrie D came, and Carrie D's so cute. Oh, he's so cute. I love Carrie D. And Carrie D just is there to have a good time, honey. He was fine. So the night they get there, Reese invites all of them over for dinner. He cooked, and by all accounts, Reese G can throw down. I have not heard anybody yet that has eaten anything that Reese has cooked that said it ain't no good. So Reese, when I get to Dallas, Lord willing, and the Rona don't rise, I'll be in Dallas in a couple of months. And when I get to Dallas, Reese, I want one of them home cooked meals. I buy the grocery. Okay? I will buy the grocery if you cook it. That's all I'm saying, bruh. That's all I'm saying. I'm just throwing that out there. Me and Abby will come to your spot. We will buy the grocery if you gonna cook it. Okay. Now, so they get there with Markel, Carrie D, Trey Womack came. Trey Womack. Now look, I like your little units, okay? I don't have no problem with your units. I even like this look with the whole Killmonger thing you had going. I did. I had no problem with that. But let me tell you what one of my biggest pet peeves are. And this is one of my biggest pet peeves with women. So I damn sure know it's going to be a pet peeve with a man. Don't you come out the house with that goddamn bonnet on no more. I don't care if y'all was in the car traveling. Then don't get on social media with the bonnet on your head. The only person that can get away with that where I don't be beefing with them is Tammy. Because that's her whole shtick. The Bonnet Chronicles. I'm going to give Tammy that. I can't stand them bonnets. Anyway. So Womack came. George, I already said that. And quiet as it's kept, loud as it is. And Dario was there the whole time, too. But I ain't going to say nothing. I ain't going to tell nobody and Dario that you was there the whole time. Did I just tell everybody you was there the whole time? Anyway, I'm just joking. I mean, I'm serious, but I'm just joking. Anyway. So, shouts out to Ed Dario. That's my boo, too. I'm sorry. That was rude of me. I was parched. So, over dinner, of course, they had to speak on the fight. I will not. I'm done with it. I don't have nothing else to say about it. Moving on. But they had a good night. I think they had a good moment of bonding. They had some drinks. They had some food. And then they went down to Bourbon Street. Let me tell you something. By all accounts, they had themselves a good drunk time. I mean, they had a ball. By the footage that was shown, they had a good drunk time. And that, let me tell you something. That is what New Orleans Bourbon Street experience is about. If you were on Bourbon Street and you ain't drunk, you ain't doing it right. I'm just saying. Even if you're not a drinker, if you ain't drunk, you ain't doing it right. My girl Abby, my big sis Abby is not a drinker, but she ain't gonna go to Bourbon Street with me and not get drunk. You know what I'm saying? And when I say she's not a drinker, I don't mean like she ain't never had a drink before. But you know what I'm saying? Like she ain't a drinker like some people. Like El Teddy. El Teddy's a drinker. Anyway, I'm having fun with this review because I ain't got a whole lot more to say. So like I said, they had a good time. Now, George done messed around and he done pulled an old school trick bag move where he done flirted with the dude all night. They showed him kissing on some man and all this other stuff. And then at the end of the night, he gonna give the dude his friend number and give him a fake name and a fake number. I mean, well, it's a real number, but too, I said, George, you ain't right. Then he gonna try to play the next day like he ain't remember doing it. Like he was so drunk, he ain't remember doing it. You wasn't that damn drunk. You remember what you did. Put your friend out there on Front Street like that. Because if you were sober enough to remember the right phone number, and you were sober enough to know you gave that boy your phone number. See, drunk would have been I gave him the wrong number altogether. 555-1212. You gave him a phone number that worked to your friend. You wasn't that damn drunk, George. So the next day they were going to go on the swamp tour. Now they're supposed to be going on the swamp tour at noon. None of they drunk asses could get to the dock by noon. And you know, them types of them, you did not charter your own private swamp tour, Reese G. Y'all were buying tickets like everybody else and getting on a swamp tour with everybody else. So that swamp tour was leaving at noon, whether y'all were there or not. So they ended up flipping the schedule where they ended up eating first and then going on the swamp tour. So they had lunch so that everybody could get their drunk selves together and get themselves mobilized, because again, they weren't all staying at the same place, they were all scattered, so they had to get up, get themselves together, and then get in one place. And so they were able to do that. They had a good lunch, and again, and it was funny. Markel Logan, you did not fix your lips to tell Reese G he was throwing a little too much shade. I know you better not never, ever, ever, never fix your lips to tell nobody they throwing too much shade. Sir. So they went on the swamp tour, and it was cool. You know, if you've been on a swamp tour, you've been on a swamp tour. Reese gave an impromptu performance of Proud Mary because the boat played Tina Turner, so he had to give him the impromptu Proud Mary. Carrie D gave a happy birthday. You know, he gave it, you know, with a little bit of soul on it, a whole lot of oomph and on it. He sang happy birthday to somebody, and they had a good time. And then they came home. Now, Reese, he said that he felt like he would have had a little bit more fun if Kane had came and if Ariel had been able to come, because then he'd have been able to go off and they would have been able to do some stuff together. But I'm glad that for that reason, I'm glad they weren't there, because I think you had a good time with the people who were there. And there was a certain point where there was a situation where, there was a certain point where Womack called Kane because George was throwing a little shade, and Womack was like, "You're not gonna do that to my friend. You ain't gonna sit here and talk about my friend, and he ain't here to defend himself." Womack, I was with you 100%, and I appreciate what you did too, because you was like, "What you not gonna do? I ain't getting into it with you, and I ain't starting no shit, but you ain't gonna sit here and talk about my friend." And he ain't just called him, honey. He FaceTimed him. Like, I'm gonna make sure that it ain't no problems, no misconversation, no misconceptions. Nothing is misunderstood. It is said, and it's going to be said. So, but I'm glad they didn't come, and not because I have any beef with Kane or with Ariel as far as them coming on the trip, but I just think that for the people who were there, I think they had a good time and they were able to bond. And I think people that maybe weren't always hanging together got a chance to spend some time together and sort of get to know each other in a different way. So I thought it was a good time. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. It wasn't really a whole lot with the episode, but at the end of the day, I think it was a good time. Shouts out to Amani Van Zap. As always, you know, I agree with what she had to say. I appreciate the fact that she said that she has had a chance to look at all of the footage, all 25, 56, 37 angles of the fight. And she said, at the end of the day, Womack, you threw the first punch. And at the end of the day, whoever threw the first punch is who carries the most burden. I am not going to sit here and say that there wasn't some other stuff going on and there weren't some other factors going on, but we're talking about who carries the most burden. And again, that's all I'm gonna say about the fight. She also gave it to Reese a little bit, saying, look, production had their part in this, and for that, I'm not cool with it. I'm not okay with it, and I'm not cool with production playing a part in this and seeming like they had something to do with it. She even threw the Reese O'Neal at him, like, look, you had something to do with this. So not you had something to do with it like from a setup point of view, but as production, as the person in charge. That's what I mean. I'm not Reese, I'm not saying you set nobody up. So Amani Van Zap, as always. And if you haven't already, you guys, if you're watching this review and you have not checked out the Justice League, interviewed Miss Amani Van Zap on Monday, go over to my boy Yes Bitch TV's channel and check out the interview. It was a great interview. She was very open. She was very honest. She was straightforward. She ain't bullshit. She ain't talk around the bush. And we had a great conversation. Please go check it out, you guys. I'm definitely going to put the link to his channel in my description box so you guys can click on the link and go on over there. With that being said, everybody have a great day. Good night.